Talented Thursday with Kimberly Eichelle. Let's go. Yeah. Everybody day boy. Every Thursday night, let me be specific. Yeah. You're gonna see a great show at 7 p.m. Pacific. Kimberly Eichelle will be on the mic, hosting talented people that she knows you like. Come on in, tell a friend, yep, you found your crew. Every Thursday at 7, make sure you come through. Talented Thursdays with Kimberly. Talented Thursdays, the place to be. Talented Thursdays, stay locked in right here every Thursday night. Talented Thursdays with Kimberly Eichelle. Whoa, whoa. Talented Thursdays with Kimberly Eichelle.
Whoa, hey y'all. How you doing out there? Welcome to another episode of Talented Thursdays. Y'all know I'm so happy to be here. So happy to see you. How y'all feeling? How you feeling tonight? I'm feeling pretty good. I have Charlene in the building. My girl is here week after week after week. That is nothing but love. Thank you so much. She said, greetings from Florida. So come on in, y'all. Rep your city, rep your city. Let me know how you liking the new theme song. You know, I'm excited about it. It's a little bop to me. You know what I'm saying? It feels good, feels good. So welcome to those of you who may be new, those who are watching live on either YouTube or Instagram or Facebook. And then also those of you who may be listening back to the broadcast on Amazon, Spotify, or Apple. Show some love out there, y'all. Show some love. Make sure that you share. Sharing is caring. Share this episode. Share Talented Thursdays with a friend, with family members, with your coworkers, with your boss, with your cuts. Everybody. I'm saying share, y'all. If you enjoy the show, I am trying to grow, and I can only do so because of you. Because of you all who tune in week after week. All righty. Thank you so much. Doing Life with Latoya is in the building. She said, hey, loving the new theme song. Thank you so much. I'm loving it too. It's fun. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bop, and I'll be ready for y'all. Behind the scenes, I'm moving and grooving. That's what I want you to know. So tonight, I want to talk about a few things. But who told me? This is the first thing I want to say. Who told me to do a live show once a week? A live show every Thursday. And I know that some of you are saying, well, you know, people do live shows all the time. The news is live every night, right? The news is live. You know, you have live morning shows that come on. There's others who do live shows nightly and all these things, but they got a team, y'all. They have a team. Who told me to do this? You know what I'm saying? So I am here week after week. So I had something special prepared for you all tonight. Look at Charlene. She said, hey, the Lord told you. That's what it had to be. Do you hear me? Because some nights I'll be like humming, but he brings it all full circle. I prayed. I gave it to the Lord. When I started this show, I said, Lord, I'm giving you Talented Thursdays, just like I gave him Talented Television. This is his platform, you know. So week after week, like I was saying, I had something special planned for you all tonight, and things kind of took a turn. So I had to readjust. But hey, there's always something to talk about in entertainment, right? And I have something still that's special for you tonight. My mama, my biggest cheerleader, is in the room. Hey, Las Vegas is here. Yes, you are, honey. She said, new intro. I like it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So with that being said, tonight I wanted to talk about finding your purpose, finding your peace, and protecting your peace while becoming an artist, or, you know, being in your creative element. So we are going to talk about that tonight. So while we're getting ready, get your water, get your popcorn, get your snacks, all that stuff, and make sure that y'all talking back to me tonight, because I'm in the room and I know you all are in the room. So talk to me. I'll talk back. You're watching Talented Thursdays.
I don't think think they're ready for this. You know what time it is? It's about that time of the week to showcase what you got, the talent that we have. It's a whole lot. You can sing, you can dance, you can rap, you can write. It doesn't matter. You know what time it is? Put your hands in the sky and wave them side to side if you feel alive. Talented Thursday with Kimberly Eichelle. Let's go.
Let's go, y'all. So protecting your peace is so important, right? That is super important, especially nowadays when it seems like everything is upside down. Everything is kind of haywire. You listen to the news, you like, Lord, have mercy again. There's all types of things that are going on. And, I used to work in news after I graduated, and working in that field, one of my favorite things to see was when they had like little fun segments, right? When they had segments that were going to bring you joy, when they had segments that was going to tell you what was going on in your city, those types of things, because we get enough heavy stuff, right? So I want to again talk about protecting your peace, finding that purpose, becoming the artist you're meant to be. And tonight, if you saw the promo, it featured somebody special to me, which is none other than the greatest artist, biggest artist of all time, Mr. Michael Jackson, right? So, what happens to an artist when they give the world love, music, and inspiration, but the world keeps demanding more? When you give somebody something, they want more, more, more. Oh, that was so good. I'm going back. That was so good. I want more. So what happens to an artist when you've given so much and people want even more of you? So I've been thinking a lot about artists lately, and I pray for artists all the time. One thing about me, if you watch my show, you know that I talk about God often because I am a Christian and I love to talk about God and the things that He's done in my life. But I also love to pray. I believe that prayer brings us power. Prayer brings us into connection with the God that we serve. Prayer allows us to be able to speak our mind to God, to ask Him for what we need, whether it's healing, whether it's direction, and just to thank Him. Just to thank Him for who He is, for what He's done, for what He's called us to be, all of these things. But I also not only pray for friends, for family, I pray for people that I don't know. I pray for my viewers. I pray for artists because sometimes people forget that artists are people, right? They forget that artists are people. So again, I've been thinking a lot about artists, especially artists who gave everything that they had to the world. And honestly, one of the first people that you think of, when you think about somebody who gave everything, and it seems like they never kind of got what they deserved, is Michael Jackson. So this week I went to see Michael, y'all. Finally, right? My niece and I went, and it's something about this generation of young people, okay? Because they just won't let you be great. They always bring you right back down to size, right? So my niece and I, we get to the theater, and I was looking at the pricing and everything online, and I was going to get our tickets online. Then I was like, oh, well, it looks like the theater is going to be empty. I'm just going to get it when we get there. So we get there. My niece beat me there. First of all, she talked about me real bad, y'all. Family, they don't care. She talked about me real bad because I was like 3 minutes late, okay? But with that being said, we got inside and she wanted to change movies because she was going to get the tickets in advance, I guess, surprise me. And there was hardly any seating left. Of course. What was I thinking? It showed that, earlier in the day that it was all open. But by the time we got there, it was not. Okay. So with that being said, we went up to the counter and I talked to the lady and she found us some tickets, some seating, excuse me, at the very front, but in a special place. I don't know if I should give it away to y'all, but there is a way to sit at the very front and still see without craning your neck all the way back. Okay. So anyway, as the movie comes on, it's showing Gary, Indiana, y'all. And I'm excited because, that's where I was born. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, Gary, Indiana. And it showed Gary, Indiana, 1966. And my niece looks at me and she's like, TT, you weren't even born. Girl, get excited with get excited with me. Okay. So it opened up like that. And I was excited just to see Gary, Indiana on the screen, and it was snowing, y'all. And yeah, that was another thing that I was trying to talk during the movie about. I was like, girl, this why I couldn't celebrate my birthday a lot as a kid because we always had a blizzard because my birthday's in the winter. My niece didn't want to hear anything that I was talking about. Y'all probably like, girl, get on with the show too. But I thought I'd share that. Okay, how about that? So anyway, this week, as I said, I went to see Michael, and if you haven't seen it yet, I don't think that I'm giving away too much of the movie, but I may be. So, listen in anyhow. Listen in or come back later, but make sure you come back, okay? So, Michael was somebody whose childhood was sacrificed to me to entertain people. I read that he was only 5 years old when he began performing. It was in kindergarten, and he sang Climb Every Mountain. If you're a music head like me, you know that that's from the musical Sound of Music. But they said Michael sang the song or sung the song so beautifully that it brought his teachers and his mother to tears. Not hard to not believe because his voice is so unique and so pure. And if you listen back, as a fan to the early days of the Jackson 5 and just hear the clarity of his voice on I'll Be There and ABC and all of those songs, you knew that Michael could sing, right? So he spent his entire life performing. He brought joy to people across generations. Even today, I have seen so many videos lately where the little kids are doing the dances to Thriller. Some of them still in diapers, but they have learned those dances. You could see their little shoulders moving, all of that. And I even saw a video recently where there was a little girl who was crying. And I mean, she was crying, y'all, because her mother told her that Michael was no longer here. And she was upset because she was never going to be able to meet Michael Jackson. So, that's how his gift has gone through generations from the 50s and 60s, the 60s, I should say, all the way until today. He is still inspiring fans around the world. Even in the most remote places of the world, people know who Michael Jackson is. I don't know if you've seen like reels like that as well, where people go into these remote places and you see people dancing, to Michael Jackson, or you show them a picture and they're like, oh, Michael Jackson. Huge, huge. I don't know that there's going to be an artist as big as he is. I think, like I said, he's one of the biggest artists of all time, if not the biggest artist. After all of that, there were those who still keep, or are those, excuse me, who still keep trying to turn him into something darker than who he really was. If you watch the movie, you saw that Michael really had a heart, not only for people, for animals as well, for children. It was like God had given him this special kind of love. And so watching the movie made me think about a lot of things. So, one thing was, how do artists truly protect their peace? How do you truly protect your peace as an artist? Because again, watching, you were able to see, and even hearing stories and things like that, we knew that Michael even faced troubles at home from his own father. From his own father, you were able to see, all of these things that transpired in his life. But yet, he was this great artist. He created again from a place of love. You can hear it in his music, you can feel it in his performances. And I truly believe that he was placed on earth and that his desire was to not only entertain, but inspire others. So I want to take a look at just some of his songs briefly and share them with you. Some may be familiar, just a couple of lyrics from a few songs of his. So I want to start with Man in the Mirror, right? Lyrics. I'm starting with the Man in the Mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change, right? So, talking about change comes from within. These are some of the positive songs that he made. And I know as I was saying that, for those of you who are fans, you were singing it as I was saying it, singing along. Another song is Heal the World. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. Again, just a place of love. And then this song, which may not be as big as the others, but I believe it tells of how Michael truly felt, was a song called, or is a song, excuse me, called Childhood. Childhood. And we just talked about a little bit of his childhood and how he really didn't have one. And the one that he did have had all types of things going at the time. But anyhow, the lyrics say, before you judge me, try hard to love me. Look within your heart, then ask, have you seen my childhood? People say I'm strange that way because I love such elementary things. It's been my fate to compensate for the childhood I've never known. And despite the noise, you all, despite the media, despite the pressure, he stayed true to the music, the fans, until the very end. And I think every artist today can learn something from that. We truly can. It's like, what type of artist do you want to be? Michael Jackson may have been one of the most famous people on earth, but fame does not protect peace. It doesn't protect our peace. Um, excuse me. That there is something, excuse me, you all, that's something that you'll have to think about as you dive into who you want to become as an artist. Have you thought about that? Those of you who are becoming an artist, or even those of you who have been an artist for a while, but have thought about it and have been like, mm, I really need to grow in this area, or I want to change some things about my artistry in this area. We see people all the time who may come out and they're a type of artist that only are reckless in what they give to the world. Their artistry may be something that's wild and crazy, and they're talking about all types of things that is not helping humanity, and something changes in them. And then you see their social media change, you hear their tone change, you hear their music change, because they want to be a change. They want to be a change. So have you thought about, what type of artist do I really want to be? Imagine giving your entire life to music, from childhood until your final days, and still constantly having to defend your humanity. Thank you for watching, Evangelist Pamela Kaiser. She said, beautiful as ever. Go forth and claim the prize. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. So imagine that you've given everything that you can to the world as an artist, everything that God has placed inside of you. And as I spoke at the beginning, it still has not been enough. Defending yourself. The media creates all types of narratives about an artist, but they really don't know the person. There were few people who truly knew who Michael Jackson was. And when you become the artist that you want to be, or for those who are already at the level where you want to be, there are few people that should be around you that truly know the inner workings of your circle. Because once the media gets a hold of anything, if you sneeze the wrong way sometimes, it's all over the news. It's like, did you see the way that he sneezed or she sneezed? It's crazy. But they take that narrative, they shape it into what they want it to be. And then all of a sudden, you're somebody different. People forget that artists are real people. I said that at the top as well. A lot of times we forget that these people are human. Yes, they have a huge platform, but in the end, at the end of the day, they are doing the job that they were called to. Some people are called to be doctors, some called to be lawyers, some called to be teachers. We all have what we are called to do, and each position is necessary because without it, the world would not move the way that it's supposed to be. I'm talking about all the way from the White House to the outhouse, as they say. Everybody's job is important and necessary. It's important and it's necessary. And we have to remember that these are real people behind the makeup, behind the glitz, the glamour, behind, the clothes, all of these things. Real people exist. And so, what social media does a lot of times, we get online and there are people who dog people out. We call them cyber bullies. They're hiding behind the keyboard, terrorizing people, talking about people. Did you see the hair? Did you see the wig? Did you see the makeup? Did you see this? Did you see that? And pulling people down, saying all types of negative things. And these are real people. Did you see how much weight she gained or he gained? Oh, they didn't look good tonight. That outfit was horrible. Oh, they sounded like trash. Yeah. People get online and say all of those things and forget we're all real people. How would you feel? And not only how would you feel, if it was your son, your daughter, your best friend, your cousin, how would you feel? Yes, we have a right to give our opinions on things, right? So I won't say that we don't all have something to say, but there is a way to say things, right? Hey, hey, to my sister, Trina Latrice, thank you so much for coming in. Also, Danny Marie, the podcast guru, y'all. She's in the building, my sister and friend. Thank you so much for coming in. So remember, you all, again, that these are people. Entertainment culture feeds on controversy. You can have someone who's an artist who really, again, wants to touch the world and wants to heal the world and all of those things. And they're giving out food. They're clothing people. They're building things in neighborhoods. They're giving homes to the homeless. They've provided in education and things like that. You never hear those stories in the news. And if you do, they're typically buried deep, right? It's not a lot of people talking about it. But honey, let something bad happen. Let them fall. And it's everywhere. And so, we as consumers, how do we fix that? How do we fix that? I'm going to go back to Michael's song by starting with the man in the mirror. No, we may not be able to change the whole world, but we can do our part in making things better. And so as we talk about, our artists and such who are beat up in the world or who were pulled down and they were looked at as the greatest. That's the thing. If you base your artistry on what people say and what people believe, you're not going to feel well in this industry. You're not. If you become an artist just to get fame, people build you up And the moment they don't like you, they pull you down. The moment they do not like you, they pull you down. Herdy Randolph said bullies specialize in pulling others down. See? Confirmation. Confirmation. I had not even read her her post. Pulling people down. I got to talk about my girl Whitney Houston, y'all. One of my favorite artists as well of all times. Gifted beyond words, right? They call her the voice. Those that knew her personally called her Nippy. You know, that was Nippy. Someone that we miss dearly. Someone who was on top of the world with songs like The Greatest Love of All at Once. One Moment in Time, which, fun fact, I sang at my high school graduation. One Moment in Time. I Want to Dance with Somebody, my go to karaoke song. And I Will Always Love You. And so the world loved Whitney, especially when she sang the Star Spangled Banner. Now that's if there was a world wide web at that time, that's what would have gone viral for sure, because everybody was like, "Oh my goodness." It wasn't a dry eye, it wasn't anyone who didn't feel when she sang the Star Spangled Banner. And so she was up, up, up. But when she fell, the media they began to fixate on pain instead of her humanity. And so they talked about her and her marriage with Bobby Brown, the ups and the downs. We all saw it. They pulled her even lower with the substance abuse, not knowing what was going on in the background, not knowing how she got there, not knowing what fame really feels like. It was Whitney, Whitney. But as she went through, there was nobody there to really try to bring her out or protect her. Very few. Let me put it that way. Very few who wanted to help pull her out. There were millions cheering when she was at the top. They talked about her weight loss. They talked about her vocal decline when she came back and was trying to sing again. This is a tough industry. And you have to know who you are and what you want to do in this industry before you even get there. And like I said, for those who are watching and are already, in the industry and have, your audience and all of those things, if you're not exactly who you want to be, now is the time to make that change. What is your purpose? What type of artist do you want to be? One thing about Michael Jackson, whether people understood him or not, he never stopped creating. Like he was always creating, always creating. And as a creative being myself, there's just something about the artistry that God places on the inside of us. As I watch award shows sometimes, as I watch even the movies sometimes, as I listen to songs, there is something inside of me that is pulled to tears sometimes because I know what God placed inside of me as well and what my dream is. And one day I'll be where I'm supposed to be, but I'm also ministering where I'm supposed to be right now. Everybody is not going to reach the same level. Are you going to be okay with that? Will you be okay if you don't make it all the way to the top, but you're able to reach your community? What type of artist are you aspiring to be? So when I came home from the movie, y'all, I decided to watch This Is It. Because after I saw Jafar, who did an awesome job, I wanted to see Michael. I wanted to see Michael and see him in action. So of course, This Is It. This Is It was the last kind of movie that was released before Michael's final concert. He was supposed to have that final 50 tour 50 show tour, and he ended up passing away in June of 2009. So I watched it. I began to watch this. And just a fun fact from This Is It. So I haven't seen it in forever. I've seen it before, but it's been years since I've seen it. And I believe her name is Mika Cox. If you are a fan of The Rookie, like I am, she was actually, which I didn't know, she was one of the dancers. She was a background dancer who auditioned and was able to be one of the background dancers for the tour. And I was blown away, honey. I'm looking at that video like, oh my gosh, look at my girl Nyla, the detective. So she was meant to be a star. You know what I'm saying? She was meant to be a star. Estella, thank you for tapping in. She said, hey, sis, I'm at the airport watching you. Now, that is love. Thank you so much. Safe travels to you. Another artist who is climbing the charts right now, independent gospel artist. Shout out to you and thank you so much for the love. Hardy Randolph said, a dog will try to help another wounded dog, but people will walk on top of another person that is wounded. That is so very true. A lot of times that's true. I was sharing with someone the other day. I was looking at a post and it was talking about gas prices, you all. And as you know, gas prices are high right now. I'm in Las Vegas and gas is high, you know. And so as I'm reading the comments to see what others are saying concerning it, I saw one person say, well, that's why I'm glad that I have my electric car. You know, it was kind of like, oh, well, I got my electric car. And I said, but what about your brother and sister around you? That's great that you have your car, but everybody can't even afford an electric car. So what about them? We get so caught up in, well, at least I got mine. Well, at least I got mine. What kind of world is this coming to? We have to care about other people. We need to be there for other people. Again, with that being said, I watched This Is It, you all, and I watched Michael's dedication to his performance. He was so meticulous about things. And I'm like blown away, right? You could feel the energy that was exuding off of him. You saw it in his moves and his body and his voice, just everything. And I'm like, this man is doing what he was created to do. He's doing what he loved. I believe he was a perfectionist, you know. They were like, well, Michael, we're not gonna do that part, you know, we're not gonna do that part. We just gonna kind of, he said, no, let's do it. Let's do that. This is what rehearsal is for. Even when they made mistakes, he said, we're in rehearsal. We're in rehearsal. This is what it's about, you know. He had an emotional connection to his audience. And I believe that he was definitely committed to excellence. We want to always give our best in whatever it is that we're called to do. We want to do our best, right? So, again, what type of artist do you want to be? He didn't create to be in the headlines. At that time, you know, again, social media and all of that was not huge. It wasn't something that was big at the time. Going viral wasn't something like that. But there were headlines, you know, there were all types of newspapers and tabloids and all of those things. But he did not create to be in that place. He created experiences. He created feelings. He created moments that people will never forget. So, are you creating for applause or for impact? For my artists out there, and for whatever it is that you do, are you doing it for applause or are you doing it for impact? Would you still love your craft without the attention? Would you still make your music if only a few people listened? Because you believe that the lyrics that are on the inside of you are meant to be on the outside? that it's meant for somebody, that the right person will hear it? How do you feel about that? Are you protecting your identity while chasing success? Are you protecting the real you? Because as artists, a lot of times you have to become a character, right? Or there are those who become a character. And even with Michael, Michael was pretty quiet, you know, he was pretty reserved, all of those things. But when he hit the stage, you didn't see that timidness and all of that. You saw him bust out of that shell, right? You saw him do his thing. But are you protecting your identity while chasing success? Meaning, will you still be true to you when you reach the pinnacle of where you believe that you're supposed to be, or even where God wants you to be? Are you protecting that? Are you, for me, I know that I am still working towards other dreams and goals. And with that being said, I am always praying, Lord, always keep me humble. Always keep me in a place where I worship you. Always keep me in a place where I love people and I put people and I treat people like people as though I want to be treated. Because some people you hear stories where you come across some of your biggest artists and people wish that they never met them. It's like their favorite person in the whole wide world. You know, this is my favorite artist. And you meet them and they're a jerk. And I'm not saying that people aren't people, that you get tired and all of those things, because that's real. You know, you do get tired as a human being and all of those things, and people constantly coming up to you and all of that. But there is still a way to say hello and keep it moving. You don't have to be nasty about it. Charlene said, I'm doing it for impact, obedience to God for his kingdom and his glory. That's right. That's right. For his kingdom and his glory. And as we know, only what we do for Christ will last. Only what we do for Christ will last. For my birthday, you all, this year, I actually went to I was blessed to go see Michael Jackson 1. And I had been wanting to see it for a while by Cirque du Soleil. And I had a friend that actually ended up taking me this year. And I had a great time. I was just moving, you know, because I told y'all that's my boy too. And so I got to the gift store, and when I got in the gift store, um, you know, I was looking around to see what I wanted. It was my birthday, so I was being treated, you know, all of that. God is so good. I had favor rolling that day. Thank you, Lord. With that being said, I saw a huge artist come into the shop, right? And I'm shopping and I'm looking and I'm telling the lady, can you reach that right there? And does it come in a size this and blah, blah, blah. And when I look, I saw none other than Taraji P. Henson. Taraji, right? And so because I've been around artists before, and you know, I know that everybody don't want their name shouted to the mountain and top and all of that. And the store was crowded. And I don't think anyone else um even noticed her at that time. But I just said, hey Taraji. She said, hey. And she kept moving, you know. She didn't say, you know, probably didn't want me to get any louder, or, you know what I'm saying, bring attention to her, because she was with her friends, maybe her assistant, someone was shopping for her. She was like, yeah, get that. Oh, that's cute, that type of thing. And I said, hey to her. And I kept it pushing because she's human. She wanted to enjoy her night, her experience, without me saying, Taraji, oh my God. And the whole store, you know, seeing her. No. Hey, Taraji. Hey. And that was that. People are people. Hello, hello. Someone said, hey, Auntie. I'm not sure who that is. Please put your name up. But hey, hey, love. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Oh, it's Armand. Hi, nephew. Thank Thank you for watching, my love. Oh my goodness. Look, you just made me smile. My nephew watching from Arizona. Thank you, Lovey. Oh my goodness. So, yes, indeed. That was definitely an experience. And I love that Charlene basically said what she was doing her work for. She's doing it for impact, not just for the applause, because the applause dies, honey. Y'all been to a show, and after the show, it's like, yay, encore. That encore, you may come back out, but at a certain point, the curtains come down, and the ushers are like, good night. We have to get everything swept up. Good night. Good night. Meaning the applause dies. So then you got to wait till the next time the applause comes? No. What are you doing this for? So a person who is chasing fame needs constant validation. You need somebody to say, oh, that was so good. Oh, you really did that. Oh my God, there's so and so. You have to have that all the time to feel like you're somebody. But that's not always going to happen. And if it does happen at some point, somebody gonna say, I really don't like them. For instance, we have one of the top artists right now, or many feel is the top artist right now. I can't speak for everybody, but I can say Beyonce. The beehive goes crazy if somebody says something about her, but everyone does not like her. But that's life. That's real life. But I'm sure she really don't care nothing about that. In the end, she's doing what she loves to do, and what she has done since she was a child, since she was a little girl, all on Star Search and singing home and all of those things. She is not new to this. And that's the thing about Talented Thursdays and Talented Television as well, that a reason why I started the show, one of the reasons I should say, is because everybody has a story. And a lot of times I often say that we think somebody sprang up overnight, but it does not happen like that. People are putting in work in the background. Put your work in. Put your work in. There are those of you who are just coming across Kimberly Eichelle. You have never heard my name before. You've never seen me before, any of those things. And I've been doing this for 8 years now because I'm doing what I love. It's not for the applause. It's because I actually enjoy people. I actually enjoy conversation. I actually love you all being here with me, my extended family. I asked my mama the other day, I said, do I talk too much? She said, now, is that a rhetorical question? This is what I enjoy. You get what I'm saying? So I don't have to have that constant validation, because if y'all don't talk to me, guess what? I got a pen out, I'm writing something, I'm doing something silly, something comes to me in the bathroom. I am a creative being. That is who God called me to be. And it's not always easy, you all. Sometimes I wish, I have several things that God has given me to do, and sometimes I wish, like, man, I wish I would have gone into computer science. So I wish I would have did that, because I would have been further along by now. I would have got that training and moved. Entertainment industry is not an easy place to grow. Podcasts, it's a million podcasts in the world, I'm sure. A million of them. But there is enough room in the world for everybody. And so again, I'm doing what I love. So for those who need validation, again, the curtain closes, the music stops. So how do you continue doing what you're called to do? Herdy Randolph said, this is good, but as a creative or artist, don't forget to protect yourself. Love your people, but sometimes people overdo it. Absolutely. People do overdo it sometimes. People make folks idols and all of these things. And then again, when they fall, because they're human, they drag them through the mud. Oh, honey, I'm about to drag them straight through the mud. but they're people. So, are you an artist that's seeking fame, that needs validation, or are you the purpose driven artist? The one who creates from meaning and connection. Do your lyrics make sense? Is it something, that's going to talk to the people? And sometimes it may not even make sense, but the rhythm or whatever it is will capture the people's hearts. You know what I'm saying? I said to someone recently that music is one of those things that speaks across languages. We may not even know what somebody is saying because they're speaking or singing or performing in a different language, but we can feel it. How many people go to operas that don't speak Latin and all of these different um dialects of the world? How many love like Jamaican music? I know it's some songs that I like and I just be I don't know what they're saying sometimes because they speak so quickly. You know what I'm saying? It's some English intertwined in that, but I don't know. But it's the beats that'll move you. Music is something that is truly special. Artistry is something that is truly special because I'm not only speaking to those who sing or those who play, but there are artists who design. There are artists who create sculptures, all of those things. Anything that we're doing, though, we need to be putting our heart behind and into. There should be meaning. There should be a connection that's made with your audience. Michael Jackson became the biggest entertainer in the world because people felt the passion in his work. I would even say that they connected to the heart of Michael. So something that has been funny lately, I don't know if you all have seen, but Michael was one of the artists that even artists were overwhelmed by. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if there will ever again be another artist in the world who, when somebody see them, they just pass out. Michael used to have like the ambulance and nurses and all these trained medical people at his concerts because somebody was guaranteed, no, not somebody, several people were guaranteed to fall out. And that's just the truth, right? So I've been seeing these videos lately where stars who we look at, as celebrities and stars, hung up on Michael Jackson. Hey, hey, my sister, Patty P in the building, y'all. Patty Pennington. So glad to see you. Love you. Estella, she said, I do music to bless others, for others to be healed, and so forth. When I write, I don't just write for myself, but for others to relate to what I'm singing. That's right, Estella. Yes, indeed. To be healed and so on. Not just writing for herself, but for others. And sometimes what we go through, our testimonies, all of those things are not just for us. It's so we can create and others can be healed. So again, y'all, with the video that I'm talking about or videos that have been coming up lately, Michael was so big that other artists didn't believe that they were receiving a call from him and they hung up on him. You know, now back in the day, nowadays you can hang up your phone and it's not going to make a sound. But back in the day, when you hung up that phone, for those who are, around my age and older, a little bit younger than me, around my age and older, when you hung up that phone, you hung it up. And if you was mad, you hung it up with some force and everybody felt it. Okay. It was like slam. Now you just push a button. Boop. But some of the people who hung up on Michael Jackson that have stories is Neo. Neo was like, I could not even believe it was him. I'm like, who's playing on my phone? Everybody basically said, who's playing on my phone? Okay. So Neo, who is a huge artist, singer, songwriter, Spike Lee, film director, he got a call from Michael Jackson. He hung up on him. Wyclef Jean from the Fugees, Pharrell, Magic Johnson, Akon, The Game, Will I Am, all these artists got a call from Michael Jackson, one of the biggest artists, and they hung up on him because they simply could not believe Michael is calling me. Michael is calling me. Now, I want to say, as artists, we have to be intentional. You have to protect your craft. You got to protect your craft. You don't just take on any project. You don't just work with anybody. You don't simply allow money to do the talking because you could end up anywhere. That's the truth. You could end up anywhere. You have to decide now what type of artist you truly desire to be. You have to work towards that goal and don't be distracted by the glitz and the glamour. Don't be distracted by all of that. Being famous gives you access, you all. And the type of access that I'm going to talk about just briefly, um, we have a friend of the family who is huge. He's a celebrity, and we have gone places with him, and you have all access just because of his name. When we walk through places, people are shouting his name. They're saying his name out loud. We have been taken through back doors. We've had places that have been shut down, because he's there and we're doing dinners and whatever the case is. And that type of thing can really go to your head. It really can if you're not careful. And then you get this big head, right? And you become like, don't they know who I am? Don't they see me coming through? Remember who you are and why you started. Never get to a place where you lose you. If you're kind, keep your kindness. Keep being humble because they say the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So stay humble. My Aunt Felicia is watching. She said, Kim, you are doing your thing, your gift tonight, all by yourself. Love your smile. Thank you, Auntie. Love you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, indeed. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. So, again, don't ever let fame, fortune, all of those things go to your head. And remember that money can get you a lot of things, but money cannot buy you peace, and money cannot buy you love. Y'all know the song. Money cannot buy you love. We see so many people, or have seen so many people in the entertainment industry, and they're on top of the world, or what seems to be on top of the world. And then they end up taking their own lives. And you like, but they have everything. But did they protect their peace? Did they remain true to who they are? Did they remain true to the call that was on their life? Did they remain true to who they started out as? I'm not saying you're not going to grow. You're going to grow. You're going to learn. You're going to be around all types of people. When God begins to open doors for you, they're going to open wide. But remember the prayers that you prayed. Remember the promises that you made. Remember the people that you truly love and that truly love you. And have a tight knit circle, like your real circle right now. If you know that they tried and true, hold on to your circle. Don't leave them, or let them go. I should say, let them go away because you've become this person now. No, you're going to need them. You're going to need somebody to tell you the truth, because it's going to be a lot of people that's lying to you and trying to get to you because of what you have. So protect your mind, you all. Peace does not trend the way that chaos does. Through all of it, the music, everything, stay rooted in love, in unity, in healing, and in humanity. Protect your mind, protect your spirit, protect your creativity, protect your energy, protect your private life as well. Again, with social media, you heard with one of my guests a couple of weeks ago that he went viral. And that's what some people wish for because, oh, I went viral. So now, I'm wealthy and people know me and, I'll get all these followers and all these things. But then there's another side of it. And he had to begin to protect his children because the same people that watched and loved him, some of them were the same people that were saying things that they should not have said concerning children. So be careful, stay strong, all of those things, you all. Time is winding down, y'all. I'm like, man, this time is flying today. I hope you are tuned in and enjoying tonight's show. I hope that you are getting something out of tonight's show for sure. Week after week, 7 p.m. on Thursdays, I try to bring you all new artists and shows like this that inspire you, that uplift, that are encouraging. Estella says, stay humble. All money is not good money. Say that again. All money is not good money. So I just want to say the older I get, the more I realize that success without peace is worthless because we need our peace. That's what keeps us grounded. That's what keeps us going. That's what keeps us living. And so, like Estella said, all money is not good money. And Felicia said, but Kim, I sure like to have some money, money, money. I know that's right. We all do. We all do. But we got to keep our heads when we get it. We got to keep our heads when we get it. When people watch the Michael movie, I hope that they don't just see the superstar. I hope that they see the sacrifice, the discipline, the pressures that he faced, his humanity. I hope that they see his love for the fans, the child who became the biggest entertainer in history and never stopped trying to bring people joy. So, what kind of energy will your art leave behind? What kind of legacy do you plan to leave behind? Or what do you want to get across even now? When someone comes across you, Estella, you, Charlene, Felicia, Armand, Herdy, Latoya, all of those who have been in the comments, Trina, what will people say? What do they feel from what you exude? And as God takes you higher, will you remain the same? Are you protecting your spirit while while following success? Are you becoming who you actually want to be? So I'm gonna be like a pastor, y'all. I'm gonna say as I close, but I'm really closing. That's the thing. That's the thing. That was a church joke. But anyway, as I close, you all, don't ever lose yourself to become impactful. Protect your peace and protect your purpose and create from a place of love. And most importantly, I'm going to say, let God be your compass. Let Him guide you. Let your faith carry you. And in the end, the artists people never forget are the people who remain true to why they first began. To why they first began. I will see you all next week. I thank you for staying with me tonight. I thank you for chiming in. Again, tell somebody about Talented Thursdays, you all. It's such a blessing to see you all week after week. And again, if you have not tapped in to Talented Thursdays on the podcast, let me put it that way, you can now listen on Spotify, Amazon, and Apple. God out here doing big things. And I'm so excited about it. Thank you, Charlene. She said, important topic. Thanks for sharing. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you all for your love and support. The best way you can support me at this time is to share. Tell somebody about Talented Thursdays. And y'all, I got some good things coming. I'm really excited about what God is doing. So make sure you stay tuned. I'll see you all next week. All right. God bless. Bye.
Thank you for watching. Please support by subscribing to Talented Television on YouTube.